Hello everyone, this is Jenny from Sweater Freak Knits, and this is my little podcast that I do sometimes once a week, sometimes a couple times a month. Sweater Freak's Knitting Lounge. This is episode 17 or 18, I have to double check, and yeah, thanks for joining me today. So today I'm recording it, and that's today is Saturday, March 23rd, I think, or 22nd. I don't remember what day it is today. I had so much to do today that I just forgot what day it was. But anyway, it's been a while. I know it's been almost a month since I recorded, and that's because I've been pretty busy with a mystery knit. I know last year I skipped, you know, normally I run a mystery knit every spring. It's usually a wrap or a shawl or whatever, usually a wrap. And last year I just had so many things on the back burner that I wanted to get over with, and I wanted to knit them and release them, that, you know, a mystery knit is a lot of work and I just didn't have the time, so I skipped it. But this year it's back. And yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to show you some shawls I've made before. As part of this is I've been running this since 2015, so 10 years. And I feel like there's just a lot of shawls that I've done that I wanted to show you guys. And I shot some reels and put them on Instagram just to revive my older designs. And I know some people haven't seen my older designs, so it's always nice to have, you know, a fresh perspective on something that's already existing. So that's what in this episode, I wanted to talk about shawl knitting, and specifically the shawls I've made as part of the Mystery Knit-Along. So I started out the Mystery Knit-Along concept in 2015, and what I wanted to do with it back then was to just have, you know, knit in a nice community, and I wanted to have shawls made that are simple, fun to knit, easy, and made with leftovers. Sorry, not yarn over, leftovers. So my first project, so that was my first concept. My first project was actually kind of like a shawl cowl, and I gotta revisit this because it's a really nice concept, a really useful concept especially for someone who works in an office. So it's kind of like a shawl. It's huge, so it's kind of like a shawl cowl. And another thing that I like to do, if you are, you know, if you've done any of these knit-alongs with me, you probably noticed it, is I really like when you start it with just a few stitches. So I don't really like when a pattern says cast on 110 stitches. I feel like I'm already losing my motivation. So for knit-along, I like to get people excited. I want to get people going, and I think the easiest way is to just start with casting on, I don't know, 3-4 stitches and go from there. So all of these projects are like this. I won't say anything about the next release, but it will probably be like this too. You could probably tell. Anyway, this is a shawl cowl concept. Starts out like a top-down shawl, top-down triangular shawl, and then ends up with no stitches as well. So it's seamless. It's a really nice design, and as you could tell, I used leftover yarn. So what I did is I just assembled a bunch of yarn I had, and most of it is Color Adventures Merino Light, which was a brand ran by my late friend Elena Noto. At a time, I made a bunch of designs for her, and that was my leftovers. And the nice thing was that they were all in the same color scheme. So you can tell they're all, you know, blues and kind of cool tones with a bit of black, and it sort of worked. And I was so happy that at a time I had no leftovers after this project. So the good thing about this one is I actually used to use it when I was in the office in the summer with air conditioning, as I just sort of put that in like that and on top of my summer top, and it would keep me warm. And then in the winter, what you could do is wear it as a cowl, or even, you know, you could just ignore it completely and say, you know what, I'm just gonna wrap it 3 times and wear it as a cowl like that with a sweater or whatever. So it was a lot of fun to knit. And one thing about this one I also like is I really like the fact that it's completely reversible. As you can tell, half of it is reversed and half of it is not. And so because of that, it's reversible. So my concept for this, the whole series of these designs that are part of the Mystery Knit-Along is to have something simple, fun to knit, and use leftovers. And I sort of continued on that concept. So I'm going to show you a couple of more designs that I did as part of this. You know, and some of the samples I no longer have because I gifted them away, and just because I have no room to store all of my knits. I don't know about you, but I really don't. I try to, you know, only keep things that I actually wear, and this is one of the things that I wear quite a bit. Now, one of the questions I had as part of talking about shawl knitting in the past is that using single ply yarn versus, you know, plied yarn. As plied yarn is something that you use normally, you know, just a 2 or 3 ply, whatever. And in the beginning, I worked with single ply because that's actually my preference, is I really love single ply yarns because they tend to kind of relax more and flow more and have a little bit more heft. But I have, in the past few years, I've been partnering up with Miss Babs, and she doesn't have single ply yarns. So the next, so this one was 2015, and the next design I'll show you is from 2021, and it's sort of was a departure from my regular concept for me. And I have to say that while, you know, people really liked it and it was a lot of fun to knit, I prefer simpler projects for myself and for wearing because it just seems to be more my style. I like things that are more basic and more simple. But this one is called, I forgot what it was called. But anyway, when I post the video, I'll link all these designs. Oh my gosh, I forgot what it was called, but 2021. So this was a sample stitch project. So kind of what I wanted to explore the concept of each clue to be a different stitch, and I used a kit, a gradient kit in a main color, which is pink in this case. So I forgot actually to tell you what a Mystery Knit-Along concept is, just in case you guys don't know. Hold that thought about this shawl. Mystery Knit is normally released in clues, and at the beginning I have a prep sheet with general information, and in 3 weeks you'll have your first clue. So the 3 weeks allows you to purchase yarn or to go to your stash and grab your yarn, and then, you know, first clue comes out, and then every week you have a clue. Usually it's 4 or 5 clues. So this one's a big one. This one was 6 clues. And yeah, it was a lot of fun to work, but I think that in general, I prefer something simpler. So this one is worked with Yummy 2-ply, and so it's plied yarn, and plied yarn has a little bit more memory. So when you block it, it doesn't seem to keep blocking as well as the single ply. For some reason, I guess it's just the structure of the yarn kind of keeps it like that. But this one's merino, and this one's really nice, and I blocked it. I've never washed it again after that because I don't wear it that often. But I do like the overall colors, and I do really love this shawl. Like everything, you know, kind of about it is interesting to me. And you know, I had a little bit of mosaic, which I absolutely love, as you know, a little bit of easy graphic lace, a little bit of just slip stitch, and, you know, just garter with eyelets. So there's, if you wanted a project that sort of has a little bit of everything, I think it's great. But to me, you know, I prefer something a little bit simpler to wear. Another thing is when you wear it, you don't really see all of it in its glory, just because people tend to wear it like that. I mean, it looks nice too. I really love this color. I think it's Cat's Meow or something like that, or Cosmic Cat or something. I forget the name, but I really love this color. I think it's super flattering on me. But anyway, you know, that was something different. So this one will stand out a bit in terms of other designs I'll show you, and I won't talk about what's coming up. I don't want to ruin any surprises. But, you know, you'll find out in due time. So by the time you watch up this episode, there will be a new mystery knit-along, a prep sheet release that you can, you know, grab at a discount and download. And if you're subscribed to my newsletter, you will get an email even with a better discount. That's how I normally do it. So if you don't, you know, if you want to get a better discount, do subscribe. Because I generally send a couple of emails, so you have a chance to grab it at a lower price. Yeah, so the next one, I'll show you another one. I won't show you all 10 because I don't actually have the samples. But this one was slightly different for me as well because it's a long triangular shawl and it's an innovative construction that I actually came up with all by myself. So it starts out as top-down shawl, and then you bind off eventually after you've reached your height. You bind off one side and then you just work the other side until all your stitches are decreased. And this one's really interesting to wear as well. A lot of people ask me, how do you wear that? And I think it's super wearable, and it's really really nice and interesting to knit as well. That's another shawl that I do love to wear, and I did not gift it away because I just saw my cat is trying to get in here. I don't think you've ever seen this cat, so I'll show you this cat. Come here. We have 2 cats, so this is the second cat we have, or actually, technically, this is the first cat. Her name's Bilsy, and she is a ragdoll Maine Coon mix. Yeah, she's beautiful. She's beautiful. Beautiful. But she damages doors, and she's quite strong, so when she wants to come in, I usually let her in. Now she wants to go out. What's with cats and, like, closed doors? Biggest mystery of our time. I'll let her out. Okay, done. Go, go, go. Anyway, so that one was from 2016. So that was the second one I did. And I really like this construction. I did a couple of other designs with this construction. And I really want to revisit it again, except, I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me. Are you into shawl knitting? I've been sort of reducing my shawl knitting lately because I don't really see as much enthusiasm anymore as it used to be like 9 or 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. But tell me what you think. I do wear this one also quite a bit. And again, this one's an easy one. It just has a bit of slip stitch. And what I tend to concentrate is unusual construction. I really like unusual construction. So this one has that because, it's a brand new construction that I came up with, and it was a lot of fun for me to knit. I'm going to show you a couple of more. This one's from 2017. As you know, this one's called Z Shawl. And it does a really interesting take on the zigzag, a zigzag theme, so to speak, as I really do like zigzag and chevron. And this one, again, I went with leftovers. I remember when I was doing this, I said you grab, I think it's 2 skeins of the gray I used, or just under 2 of Madeline Tosh Merino Light. And then I said, if you guys have any leftovers, you can just liberally use them here. You can use, 6 stripes or 10 stripes or whatever. And, at a time, again, I was leftover free. This is my favorite shape. It's, it's rhombus, but it's not a square, like not a rectangle. So it's kind of a playful shape. And I also really like it because this one has kind of a store-bought look to it. And especially if you don't work with, like, these colors are still kind of bright. They're blue and I love blue. But if you are into more of a, beigey colors, then I think that this could totally look like something you bought in a store, right? So again, interesting construction, but not difficult in terms of stitches. Like, it's still has a lot of simplicity, but it is fun to knit because it's an interesting construction. At some point though, I did run out of interesting constructions, and so I had to do something different this time around. So the new Mystery Knit-Along will be something different than I have used before. Just because I want to try different things. And this one's from 2018. This one's called White Light. And this one I think may be my favorite because it features a dropped stitch, it features eyelets, and garter, which is all of these are super easy, and I love these colors, and I had enough to do a pom-pom, so it's kind of playful. I just love the combination of this color from Mantosh, which was called Prism, that I bought a ski nav, and I said, okay, well, you know, I probably could incorporate that in with this gray set I had. I had a bunch of different grays that I have used in a different project that didn't work out, and I did it, and I said, okay, you know what, I could just throw this in together, and this is actually one of my favorite shawls. So based on these projects, I think you could sort of gauge whether you want to come and knit with us this time around, and I hope you do, because it is a lot of fun, and it's a great time to, like, if you are not really a shawl knitter, but you still want to knit something, a shawl for, you know, once a year, I think that's something that you could wear with everything, because that's what I normally do, is a lot of these shawls you could wear with everything. Yeah, I hope to see you there, and I will post a link for all these projects as well as the new mystery knit, so you can go in and check it out and start preparing for your gathering yarn. So one thing I'll say is this year's mystery knit will just be 3 colors and about 400 yards of each color, fingering weight yarn. And one color you want to have that's a little bit like more stands out more from the other two, and the other two you want to have colors that are also stand out from each other but complement each other. So like 2 grays or 2 blues, or like, for example, you could have 2 grays and a red, or 2 grays and a yellow, this kind of thing, right? But in my newsletter, I will have photos from Ms. Bab's website of the kits that they put together, so that you have an idea of, oops, I kicked it. If you have an idea of what you can pull from your stash. So I think it's usually really helpful to have visualization because you don't have a shawl in front of you, and so, you know. And also in my write-up, I have on the prep sheet, I also go through the color choices and the recommendations about what colors pull together and how you want to approach this, because not everybody wants to buy a kit. Maybe some people knit from something they already previously purchased, or they want to use up some, you know, things that they have. So yeah, I try to always have an explanation of how to pull the colors together for mystery knit. So yeah, in terms of my purchases, I didn't really buy anything. It was a quiet month where I had a lot of work in my full-time job, and I worked on this, you know, and it just seems like the time just flew. I mean, honestly, this month of March just kind of, I turned around and I was like, oh, I haven't recorded anything in a month. I better get on that and talk about this. So I did purchase a couple of needles. And I'm always looking for different needles. I love testing different needles. These ones, kind of a little bit of nostalgia for me, because when I first started knitting, all I could find in the store was those Teflon Aero needles, and at a time they didn't even have nice pliable cables. They had like this really bad cable. And I cannot find them anywhere now, but I still really like them for certain yarns. And so I went online, and I actually had to buy some yarn for my brother's balaclava that I'm gonna knit. And the same website in Canada had these needles that are also, and if I looked in my old package, these are made by Prim, and this is also Prim, which is a European brand. And so they have these needles that I bought. They're pretty cheap, and I know some people don't like them, but I actually do really like them. However, I do find that the coating on the Teflon needle is totally different. The earlier version was super smooth, and this one is sort of a little bit more grippy, which I don't know, I'm not, I haven't decided if I like it yet. Obviously, I'm not gonna send it back because it's so cheap, and it sort of would, you know, defeat the purpose. And you never know what kind of needle you would need. Like, you know, sometimes you think you don't need it, and then you end up working on something, and this needle will be perfect, and it's happened to me. I don't know if it's happened to you. It's definitely happened to me before. So, and then, you know, with tariffs and everything, I feel like my availability of stuff has just decreased because, you know, Canada puts tariffs on packages now too. So I don't really want to buy anything and, you know, pay 25 extra on top of the shipping and all that, you know. So, yeah, so that's why my purchases have been much less, and also because I've been destashing things. And this is really exciting to me because I get more organized, and I get more, you know, more ideas when I have more grasp on what I have. Yeah, so that's about it. That's all I have to say for this month, and I really hope to ramp up this podcast a little bit more after the knit along, because or even, you know, in April, because I have a lot coming this summer, and summer knitting is one of my favorite ones, and I know you guys like my summer tops, and I really want to maximize on the summer tops this year because I have a couple of ideas in mind. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see you knit with us at on Linearity Mystery Knit-Along. Bye.